Welcome back, dweebs, to the first episode in our Stranger Things review series. With me, as always, is my good friend Kev. Kev, I apologize for being late tonight. I mistimed finishing those episodes. It's been a week.
Yeah, they snuck in. That's what Stranger Things does to you. You know, you get in a rhythm, about an hour-long episode, and boom, a feature-length finale.
Yeah, then it's an hour 20, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I mistimed this completely. Thank you for the 10 minutes of credits to get me closer to that. But no, Kev, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, we're living the dream here, James. I'm very excited for this. I, as some of you know, have been waiting for a very long time for this season. I actually paid for a few extra months of Netflix that I otherwise might not have. Once they got me, I just kind of stayed. But I was expecting this show to be here a lot sooner, but it's finally here, and I watched it twice. I did the deep dive into the play, both the London version and the Broadway version. So I am ready to potentially spoil a bunch. So we'll save a lot of that stuff for the back end.
Yep.
But there's gonna be some theory time here tonight, but those theories could end up being spoilers. So I'm just gonna give you some warnings now. But the most bestest part about this, James, is my boy Frank Darabont directed episode 3. So I can't wait to talk about that. What up, Harles?
That caught me off guard. I'm gonna sneeze here 1 second. You still got it.
That's all right. I could talk about Frank Darabont all day. I didn't realize how long it had been since he had directed. He had done, I think, one show, a few episodes of one show. The name escapes me. Seems like his experience with AMC on The Walking Dead really soured him on that whole experience. For him to, like I said, he did one project like 2017, and then he's been out of the director's chair for 8 years. Came back for that Netflix money, though.
Shout out Harles. What up? I saw his name pop up, and I'm like, oh, shit. Because I did not look at the directors of any episodes, and as I'm looking at them now, the Duffer Brothers directed 4 of the first 5. He's the only one that, or 3 of the first 4, he's the only one that didn't. And God, he's got another one coming. Did you know that? I'm looking at it now, so might as well discuss it.
No, I did not.
Episode 5 is him. Is Frank Darabont. This is fun. This is a hell of a... So it's the Duffer Brothers for most of them. It's Frank Darabont for 2. However, episode 6 is Sean Levy.
That's right.
Of Deadpool and Wolverine. And the Duffer Brothers and him did 7 together, and then the brothers do the finale by themselves. So that's kind of fun. Shout out Frank Darabont for sneaking in there and getting 2 of the episodes. That's fucking cool.
I mean, he's just got one of the best, I'll call it filmographies, but we're going to mix the TV shows in there too. Man, dude, this guy, I can't say he does not miss, but for the most part, he doesn't miss too often, although he did pen that 1994 Frankenstein that we don't talk about much. We won't talk about it tonight.
Panned.
So, spoiler-free section before we dive into the episodes and talk about where we think this thing is going to go. How do you feel, James? This is freshest in your mind. You haven't.
I am less than 5
picked it all apart.
Removed from finishing it. One, it's just fucking good to be back. They do such a good job with the 80s vibe. They're so good. Like just the little details, like the very opening scene is when they're sitting there at the dinner table eating and they're panning across the table and it's like, it's fucking 1980s Sunny D and all this little like 1980s shit. I'm like, that is so fucking good. or the coffee machine at the hospital where the cup drops and the coffee comes into it. I'm like, that was a Keurig before Keurigs existed.
Yeah, dude.
The setting, I love the setting. I love how they did it. And they're so good at it, setting the scene. To me, it's a little slow getting started, especially after being gone for 3 years. But they're just, as expected, they're moving the pieces into place. And by the end, I'm all in. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's fucking have at it. It's good. I'm here for it. I am very interested to, after we talk a lot to at the end, to get your thoughts on where this is going, because I haven't had a chance to gather mine yet. So, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, generally speaking, good. And like James said, I'm glad to be back. I do love a lot of these characters, even if some of them, it feels like, haven't been really given the attention that you might like. I think you'll have that with almost any TV show, especially one with such a wide
Sprawling
cast,
yeah.
it's hard to get to everybody. I understand that. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. It was a bit of a disappointment, if I can be honest, just
Okay.
perfectly honest.
Gotta be honest.
Kind of a letdown considering the time away. And I know all the effort that was put in, but there are moments where you're like, oh, hell yeah, they really use this new big budget to the best of their ability. And then there are moments like the first 5 minutes where you're like, this doesn't look great. A lot of uncanny valley with some of the de-aging stuff.
The
So
de-aging is an interesting taste, and they use quite a bit of it too. I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's sort of my thing, is they use it a lot. And in some of the instances, like that opening scene, it's like, well, we didn't get a lot of that when it happened. Will in the Upside Down, we didn't get a lot of that in when it was happening, maybe because of the budget, but it's also sort of like, you technically you had the budget to do it, but it doesn't look great, and it's not how I probably would have started if I had been gone for 3
so
years. Like,
I guess I misspoke.
Let's not start with our strongest foot, but generally speaking, I enjoy spending time with the characters, and like you said, at the end, by the end of volume 1, I'm back. I'm ready to go. I'm excited to see how it ends, which, to be honest, is like a micro. It's an encapsulation of how I felt about the show altogether, because I really liked season 1. I think Carl says here I fell off season 2-ish. I mean, I didn't fall off, but it started to wane for me. I can barely tell you what happened in season 3 without doing a recap. But then season 4, those last 3 episodes, some of my favorite television of all time. But it's just how they pieced all of those things together. I love the backstory of Vecna, how all that stuff has come to pass. And I think that's what gets my motor going the most about the rest of this, because as I've mentioned, we learn a lot more. And anybody who watched the play maybe already will know what's coming. There's a lot of interesting stuff with the backstory of Henry Creel. And some of it I think I'm going to love. Some of it, I don't know. We'll talk about it at that point. But to me, we're right at the peak of my Stranger Things experience. We've only got 2 volumes left. And after that, we won't be able to theory craft anymore. It'll all be over. It'll go where it goes. And so this is a peak for me right now, because we don't have all the pieces yet. So it could technically go in a lot of different ways. So that part I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, you mentioned the opening scene. I misspoke. I'm talking the opening scene in the house, which is not the opening scene. It's like the second scene. The vibes are good.
That is fair. There are certain scenes, like James mentioned, that sometimes there are moments where it's like, oh, this has hit me right in the nostalgia nerve in the way that I want. And then other times it's like, yeah, we get it. It's the 80s. Yes, we got it. So there are certain moments where I could definitely agree with what Harl said there about sometimes it's more about the vibe than the details of the story. But I don't know. I feel like I'm cheating, because so much of what's gotten me excited has nothing to do with the Netflix show. I, in fact, find myself questioning why they didn't film a version of that play to put on Netflix for people to see. Now, not everybody is a theater kid, but the story is a prequel to what's going on, and that's as much as I'll say before we dive into that. And it really expands the universe a little bit while still kind of being in Skywalker territory, James. But we'll get there. So probably a good time to say, check your lease, pal, because you're living in Spoiler City.
It's time, folks. It is time. All right, let's so I don't know. Okay, so I know the play happened, and then it was in Europe, right? They did the European. That's where they're at. They did a tour over there. Is that right?
Yeah, well, the original, and not even necessarily a tour. And then forgive me, any of our friends overseas will have to just forgive me. I can't remember the exact spot, but it's somewhere in London. I don't know that it's touring. And then there is a different version in Broadway, mainly just minor differences. And some of it is just technical changes, like they enhanced some of the effects that they used, but they also did cut out some major scenes and plot points from the original. So there's two versions, and I've kind of collected what seems to be most relatable from both of them in my research here. But yeah, there are two versions of the play. The one we would see is on Broadway, which is shorter, and probably I would guess would be the closest to canon because it's their second crack at it. And the creator worked heavily with the Duffer Brothers on it. And I will just go ahead and say there are multiple scenes in Volume 1 that directly correlate with what happens in the play. So to me, that kind of signals, even if it's not all canon, that the gist of it probably is. Because there are some timeline inconsistencies, like how old Henry was when the original Creel murders happened is not the same in the play as it was in the show. But Duffer Brothers never been great with, no one's ever accused them of being Kubrick-esque in their attention to detail. So, it wouldn't be beyond them to maybe retcon this a little bit, but before, I guess I'll just lay it out, and then we can start talking about the details of each episode, and maybe then it'll be easier for me to work in aspects of the play. So spoilers for the play. It takes place, it initially takes place in like the 1940s, and you find out that Dr. Brenner, his dad, was in he was part of I can't remember if it's Navy, Air Force, whatever, a military plan. They're trying to cloak an entire destroyer, like a big ship, a big naval ship. They're trying to completely cloak it, make it invisible. And what they end up doing instead is transporting it into Dimension X, and they get killed. Everybody but Dr. Brenner's dad goes down. He comes back. He's all weird. His blood's been changed, yada, yada. And he's in Nevada, very near where the Creel family lives. And there's a Russian spy, steals some equipment, hides it somewhere. Henry finds it, gets infected, has some weird stuff going on, hurts a kid. They move to Hawkins for a fresh start. And then the play takes place with a freshman Henry Creel. You get to see all of the adults from Stranger Things. So, all the kids' parents were all Hawkins high school students. So you get some of their backstory. There's a new character there, Patty Newby, who is Bob Newby. Remember good old Bob, his adopted sisters in the play.
Oh, Bob.
And so you see the without me just going full on plot spoilers for that, because I will mix it in as we go. It is the story of Henry Creel as he is in Hawkins leading up to the Creel murders, and the parents kind of as teenagers doing their own thing to try to solve what's going on. So I'll add more, I'll flesh it out more as we go along, but that's sort of the backstory that really helps to color everything else that's going on in this season. So you get a lot more of what happened in the 50s.
Interesting. Do you think any of these parents know? They all accomplices, and they just don't know it's Henry Creel.
Well, there's the whole thing. If you remember in the main story, everybody thought it was Victor Creel. Like he goes to prison for. He's still in prison for it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
So the kids think they solve the murder because they think it's Victor Creel.
that's right.
And
That's right.
nobody knows the wiser. So none of these parents up at this point in Stranger Things would know. Not that they could see
if
Henry
it is
through Vecna
canon
anyway.
If it is canon, then yeah.
They have to be like, hey, how'd we forget about you?
What is
Welcome, Bowler.
Bowler Nights? Yeah, Millie Brown. She actually has a daughter. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
A mom now.
She's a mom. Yeah. It's kind of weird seeing them as old as they are. Like I will say that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Erica looks like she's in what was like Wet Hot American Summer. What was that? Where the teen summer camp movie where everybody was clearly way too old. That's just it's got hello fellow kids energy. A lot of the scenes where you're like, yeah, Erica, it's like a 30-year-old playing a freshman in high school or whatever, sophomore.
Okay, yeah, so they wouldn't know. Okay, there's that, so that's good. I would just pull up the Creel stuff. Problem is, I don't really remember a ton. Like I watched some read some recap stuff, but some of the details, like the Creel stuff, it all just eludes me a little bit.
So which is fine because as we go through season 5, we can kind of tap into that stuff because Holly, Mike's sister, gets kidnapped and she's being held in Vecna's or Henry's memories. So
okay. So my understanding,
kind of go through the timeline.
My understanding, and tell me if you see this differently, as we see it happen to Will in the de-aged version. Vecna kidnaps them, attaches some sucking snake thing to their mouth, locks them up. And then whatever he's doing to them, their essentially soul, whatever you want to say, is then locked inside his brain, in his memories, right? Is that what we're seeing, right? Because you've got Holly at the Creel house, and it looks normal. Everything looks normal. Vecna comes and goes. We also find out that's where Max is stuck. That's why Max cannot come out of a coma, because she's locked in his brain, which you then kind of get a little connection to, I guess, probably what you're talking about, the play, as she's walking down the Hawkins High School hallway and she picks up the flyer for the Oklahoman play. And at the very bottom, it says Henry Creel. I don't know if he's directs or stars. I didn't see
as Curly. It's a fun little, I don't know, Easter egg, I guess. So Curly is the bad guy, if memory serves, in Oklahoma. And so that's where this is the first section of us jumping right back into the play. So yes, like you said, Holly gets kidnapped despite the best efforts. So mom and dad both get hurt. Then of course
should have died. I'm just gonna state this: they would not have survived.
Nobody dies in this show. That I hate to be the one to say, like, more
I'm worried about
characters we love need to die, but someone's going to. There's no way. The stakes are getting lower by the day.
We're gonna do a prediction on who we think died. Like I agree with you. Plot armor has to stop at some point. Somebody's got to die.
It's Marvel levels of if you don't see the body, they're not dead. And in Will's case, you can see the body, and they'll just say, "Oh yeah, it was a stuffed animal." So I agree with that. I think one of the parents should have gone.
Barb did die.
Oh yeah, Barb. Oh, we forget about. Oh,
so there's characters that have died. Barb, Max's older brother, the dickhead who then becomes kind of a likable. dickhead.
Eddie, Bob Newby, all the newly added characters.
There's some kids.
The second you see a new charismatic character thrown into the mix,
they're
dying.
Eddie, dead.
Exactly.
Mainly, we're talking main reoccurring characters, right? And that even includes Tough Dice kid. The parents Holly's parents get fucked up by the Demogorgon. And there's no way I can understand dad surviving because he just dad's a bitch and he gets thrown against like a bookshelf and he gets knocked out or whatever happens to him, right? Like he makes sense. Mom, drunk mom, shout out drunk mom, because she's pissed off and she just shatters that bottle of wine and uses it like a shank.
You want to
But
go?
she should be dead. Like there is no universe where she
in the throat.
survives. Like, and there's no universe. The kids shouldn't be able to go. Like, she literally she gets beat the fuck up, but then she takes a fucking
claw across the face and throat.
She's done.
Yeah,
She
she's
should
a
not be
badass.
alive.
She has her Ripley moment.
She has her moment. Let her go out.
Get
right
away from my daughter. You know how
I thought
many
at first
they
I thought
probably
at
had
first
to
she was
do.
gonna kill him. The way they cut that scene. Remember that she does that and then they cut it to a different scene. And I'm like,
yeah.
there's no fucking way they just had her kill that thing.
No.
I can't. Hell yeah. Charles, this would have been you.
And then you'll have your own
got
Ripley
you'd have
moment.
won.
I know they had to do multiple takes because there had to be a few of them where she just slipped in the stay away from her, you bitch, you know, because that's clearly what they were doing. And it felt like the line delivery was so slow because she's actively trying not to say stay away from her, you bitch. You know, it's like, nope, read the line.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree. She should have
somebody's
died.
got to die.
She was used for a horrible reveal because anybody who's watched the first 4 seasons,
he
knew who Mr. What's it was, right? And you could hear his voice. It's not like he didn't talk. What up, Kang? Welcome to the show.
What is up, Kang? I agree. Like,
so the
reason
you
didn't have to treat it as such. Like, you knew who it was the whole time.
Yeah,
like we know. That's okay. Like the kids don't know, but we fucking do.
The way she slowly spells out Henry, but yes. So to go back to the cave and to the whole Holly thing and what you were talking about, you know, what's happening to the kids. Yes, they're all being taken and fed some of those weird Vecna tubes.
Yeah, weird.
So that they can be implanted with, if memory serves, slugs that will eventually turn into demo dogs, and potentially now have the same powers as Will the Wise, but we'll get there. The things that I wanted to call out about Holly leaving, going to the Creel house in the first place, it really signals that it's going to be a memory. Because if you see, like, everything's set in the 50s, even the television, the clothing that she wears. So it was very clearly one of Henry's fond memories of that house. I thought it was cool the way they signaled that you were going to the desert when she walks out and there's like scorpions out there.
Yeah.
But that cave that her and Max are able to hide out at, the reason that they're able to hide there and Vecna won't go in, again, big spoiler here, potential spoiler, because this is play information. But in the play, like I said, Henry discovers particles from Dimension X in a cave that he is exploring with his Captain Midnight telescope, which, if you recall, Holly found that, took it. She, I think, drops it at some point, which is how Dr. Brenner found out that Henry was the one who got into that cave, because Henry left his Captain Midnight telescope outside the cave. So that was a little like poetry.
Yeah.
Sort of, they rhyme. But yes, so that is the moment where I guess the mind flare, as we want to call it, entered Henry. And that's going to be the real question here, James, as we go forward. Who's really in charge here? Because Henry told us he was in charge at the end of season 4, but everything that the play has shown and what this season 5 is starting to show us makes me think that the Mind Flayer is actually in charge, and that Vecna is getting set up to be the Darth Vader who may have a Billy moment where he's going to turn good at the very end.
Really? You think, huh?
I hope not, but it does seem to be that they're setting that up.
Let him be evil.
Yeah, let him just be the Palpatine. But yes, and you also mentioned the play, so this is going to be weird.
About the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer is in one season, destroyed in one season.
Yeah, which maybe not. And so the play, I'm going to say the words "the play" a lot in the next few sentences. I'm just going to need you to bear with me, okay? In the play, Stranger Things First Shadow, It's a play about a play, so it gets a little confusing. The whole main thing is in high school. Joyce,
Mm-hmm.
soon to be Byers, is running the school play, and she has tricked the principal, who is Bob's dad, Principal Newbie, in that they're doing Oklahoma again, like they do every year, but they're actually doing a secret play. It's called like the Dark Side of the Moon or something like that. It's about a witch boy who falls in love with a human girl, and he makes a wish with the devil to get rid of his powers or something, and then it curses them both. Something weird.
Okay.
Anyway, Henry falls in love with Patty Newby, Bob Newby's adopted sister. She goes to be the lead actress, and Henry actually gets cast as the lead in that play. So there's the backstory. And once I saw that scene of Max in the high school on November 6th, by the way, very big date in this show, that to me signaled that, oh shit, this play is damn near canon. If it's not 100% canon, like they're going with these beats. Like this is where Henry got turned into all of this stuff. So it seems like they're going out of their way to get to the point where they're going to show us the human side of Henry, because he did love someone at one point before all of this. And that's what makes me think he's going to go Darth Vader on us, James.
Don't let him be evil. I'm okay seeing his backstory, tragic fall, but let him be fucking evil. So we think the cave is where he first was introduced to the Mind Flayer / the Upside Down, Dimension X, whatever you call it. That's why he's so scared to go there because it wrecked his whole life. So I'm gonna shout out the actor there. That scene where he's walking up bloody and he just stops at the door, and the look on his face, I'm like, that's fucking good. Like he's half crying, half scared, half ready to kill anything that comes out of the cave. It's wild. Shout out. He's awesome.
He does a great job throughout the whole thing. And so, we have to get back into just the season 5 content. Well, we have he's kidnapping 12 different kids is what he's going after. I did love the whole like Home Alone of it all, where they're trying to go kidnap Derek, and they've got the whole sleep medicine or whatever, and then they booby trap the house to fight the Demogorgons or whatever, the Demo Dogs. And so that was an interesting aspect of it. I thought it was weird that Will was laying out a lot of these details, because you would think that he would be the spy, like that Vecna would be able to see what he was doing. So wasn't sure how that was going to work out.
It's almost like Vecna doesn't realize Will still has access. It's kind of how I seen it. Not how you saw it. Like, even at the end when he finally shows up and he fucks with him and leaves, it to me doesn't seem like Vecna realizes Will has access to the hive mind. And then we'll talk about what happens later. But like, he keeps having visions when he gets close and stuff, can see what's going on. It doesn't seem like to me that Vecna knows that.
That would explain a lot, especially in that finale. Because
don't think he knows.
He thinks Will is weak, but it would still be a really big tactical error for a guy like him to just not finish the job. So
if he knows that, right?
If he knows that, unless there is a reason, unless he is playing 4D chess and he's like, well, I
don't
need
think
him.
He knows.
Yeah, I mean I think that's valid.
Will would be the first. Will is the first kid he ever took, right? And then Will got away. He mocks and makes fun of him, right? So he'd be the first one to ever get away, survive, and then obviously he's grown up a little bit, and now all of a sudden he's realizing he's still connected, and Vecna would obviously have no other way of knowing, because there's nobody else that survived, and if they did, they would be younger than him. So
it's a good point.
That's how I've read that the whole time, is that he's connected to it. Vecna has no idea. And he's going to start being more connected and understanding. We see it at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. I hadn't thought of that, so I'm kind of processing it all right now, because He seems to be doing the same thing with these other kids. So it makes me wonder what the end game is.
That's my question is I don't have an answer there, right? So like he's not just taking the 12 or 13 kids to just make a bunch of demigorgons or whatever. There's an end game, and he talks about rebuilding the world at one point. Using the weak because they're easily manipulated and molding them to rebuild the world or something along the lines is what he says. So it's got to have something to do with that, ending the world and rebuilding it in his image. It seems like
which it could be.
I don't fucking know.
And as far as the how could we get there, I think it's worth noting that when they pulled Erica from class, she was in science class. And if memory serves, almost any time that science professor spoke to the boys in previous seasons, it would have some correlation to what was going on. So
the wormhole.
They talk about the wormhole. So that, maybe that's what they're doing, because they are able to just open portals out of nowhere, walk in, walk out.
Yep.
Elle follows one of them through the wormhole.
I mean, they take a car through one of them. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the peanut butter poppers, that was fun.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. And then there's A Wrinkle in Time is one of the heavy source materials for this season.
Correct.
I love that too.
I've never read it. So if you have any, like, there's the book, when he sees the book in the hospital, they talk about it. Max and Holly talk about A Wrinkle in Time a lot. I've not read it, so I don't know. What I know is what they talked about when Max and Holly have a conversation.
All of the kids, too, in Derek's class, they all seem to refer to Henry as Mr. Whatsit, which would be Mrs. Whatsit is in A Wrinkle in Time. So it makes me think
that's where the reference comes from.
It was required reading for the class or something like that. That's why they all have the same concept of it. But yeah, it's A Wrinkle in Time. So, which again, I've read it for school, probably when I was Holly's age, and it's been a long time. But yes, the Wrinkle in Time, I believe, is in reference very similar to a wormhole, but it's the same thing, like being able to travel across space and dimensions. Yep. And there is I think the bad guy is called the It. And it's like I think because one of the episodes is called Escape from Cosmots or something. I can't remember, but that is another reference.
Yeah, they talk about
Cosmots.
Yeah.
So anybody looking to potentially find some theories.
Kamazats, right?
Kamazats, there you go. If you're a fast reader, go ahead and dust off your copy of A Wrinkle in Time. You might find
I need to look
where the plot's going.
Never read it. I'm not a fast reader, though, so if it's anything more than 25 pages, it will not get done in time.
You gotta Cliff Notes that bad boy. But I don't know what the ultimate end game is, but that goes back to the question of is it Vecna's plan, or is it the Mind Flayer working through Vecna? Because again, I hate to keep pulling from material that's not in the required viewing, but I'm not the one who decided to put so much canon stuff in a play that
it's weird. It's weird that there's that much getting pulled from that, of something that A, is not considered canon, and B, was very limited released.
And there's a moment in it where I think it's Patty tells Henry that essentially the Mind Flayer's giving you these powers so that you'll be obsessed with that, and you won't, basically, so you'll be a willing host. And so I'm wondering if the idea is like you said, and this could still fit with your theory, Vecna doesn't know that Will is part of the hive mind, because Vecna doesn't need to know that because he's not really in charge. So that's an oversight that he has. Meanwhile, the Mind Flayer is going to be injecting his particles or slugs, whatever those things were, into all these kids, which so far is how Henry got turned into Vecna and how Will has been turned into his powers. So it leads me to believe that Holly, who's been designated a cleric now, she's got her own little D&D character. I think there's been one trailer shot of a random door looks like something out of Old Boy. But there's like a door in the middle of a field somewhere. And when Mike was laying out Holly's powers, that was one of them. So it's making me think that Holly will be the next one to escape. And just like Will, she's going to have some of her own powers. And who knows, maybe all the kids will. And that's how they'll fight this main thing. But I have a feeling that it's got something to do with Dimension X, which I don't really know if that is the Upside Down,
or if that's something else.
The Upside Down seems to be frozen in time on the day that 11 opened the gate, right? Like it's just Hawkins, and there's a big wall around it.
Yeah, we're finding out now there's a huge Game of Thrones wall around it, and it's literally just Hawkins, nothing else.
Yeah, so I feel like they're two different places, maybe. But those are some of the questions I look forward to being answered for.
Episode 6 is called Escape from Kamazats. I just see that. My issues with some of your theories is we're now 5 seasons, 4 episodes in, and we have 4 left. They're twofold. One, the easy one is Dimension X has never been discussed, right? So how, man, you'd have to, I just feel like it's so late in the game to throw a major wrench in like that. Like suddenly there's another dimension that started all this. I don't know. And then maybe unless he closes it and creates the upside, it's hard. Like I'm not saying it's impossible, but you got 4 episodes left, probably an hour and a half each. And they have announced let me look.
2.5 hour finale, I think.
Oh yeah, maybe. Let's pull those up real quick. They have announced the runtime, so let me pull that up. So maybe that'll make me think a little bit more here. Let's go.
I will say, while you look that up, the only counterpoint I would have is the scene where we see Henry falling through space and getting zapped by lightning. I feel like
where he gets turned into
different than like that.
It was like red.
Yeah, and it had
red, orange, looked lava based almost.
Wasn't quite the same. So maybe it is the same, maybe it's not. But those are some things that could be happening. Did you find those runtimes you were looking for?
So 5, 6, and 7 have not been announced, but the right side up, the series finale is about 2 hours, is what it says. So
let's go.
The average of these was over an hour. One was 54 minutes, but the rest were 8 minutes, hour 6. And then Sorcerer was an hour 23. Then the other thing is the Mind Flayer Vecna thing, because I think most casual fans have assumed, and I don't know if this is correct or not, this is how I viewed it, that Vecna, and this is probably wrong because it's just been too long since I've watched it, that Vecna sent the Mind Flayer in season, is that 2? Is it 3? What season? Is it 3? Where the mall, they kill the Mind Flayer in the mall. It's got it's got Max's brother.
I think that's 3.
I think it's 3. I think it would be quite a rug pull because Vecna's been the big bad for 2 seasons now, and essentially seems like he's in control. For them to be like, oh, actually, the Mind Flayer has been in control this whole time.
That is it depends. There is some theory work you could do where sometimes they lay these things out in their game of D&D. You know, all these characters are named after.
Yeah, correct.
Characters. And there's one scene that could have been, I wouldn't call it a throwaway scene, but I can't remember if it's season 2 or 3, but they're talking about Vecna and they refer to Vecna as the general. And they might have even referred to him as the Mind Flayer's general. So again, it doesn't outweigh what you're saying, which is
so
even Henry himself, he says it when he gets there. His version of the story is that he manipulated those particles to look like a giant spider because he was obsessed with spiders. So either he's an unreliable narrator and it's just we're going to be rug pulled, or it's like you said, he is really the one in charge. I'm
Just putting
not
it out
able to
there.
ride out that the
Yeah,
unreliable
it
narrative thing
is,
might be
to
what they
confirm what we
do.
were saying, it is season 3 that the Mind Flayer becomes very. I wonder how people would take that if in the next 3 episodes they would drop that he is the actually the big bad and has been playing Henry the whole time. I don't know that I don't know how the average fan would take that. The people that are like digging and trying to find clues, etc., might really like it. I don't know how the average fan would handle a big rug pull like that when they're like all literally like, we have to kill Vecna, and they've been doing this for 2 seasons now.
Especially if the other part of the theory is also right and they lean into the human side of it, and he does have that Darth
He has a
Vader
Darth Vader moment. Ooh, I
like
don't know. I
last
don't want
minute.
it. I don't think.
I also don't want it. At least not that part. But
Yeah.
there is, and I swear we'll get back to the episode at hand, because I do want to talk to you about how some of the characters have changed and whether some of them are just stubborn for the sake of maybe not necessarily plot armor but plot convenience. But the last thing I will say about this, and again, it all, my whole theory just hinges on whether or not that play is canon, because in the play they are much more direct about someone is controlling Henry. Like he has visions where his girlfriend is talking to him, and it's like he has these nightmares, the same stuff that Vecna is doing to the kids, right? Where
Yeah.
like a good example is when Max thinks she's talking to Lucas and he's like, you deserve it, and it switches. You have those moments where you think you're talking to a loved one, and then the Vecna voice comes in. That happens to Henry a couple of different times with Patty Newby and with Principal Newby, where his voice changes. So the play is very much implying that the Mind Flayer is the boss. But again, I don't know how much that counts. It's
Yeah, we don't know. Like, it's not canon, but they're pulling stuff from it, obviously.
So yeah, maybe it was a testing lab. They wanted to try out some ideas, but it seems that could be a way that they go, and that the characters, maybe L and Max, because L can jump into his brain and Max will have spent a long time living in his memories. Are they going to try to do what they did with Will, which, if you remember, when they pulled Will back when he was in his trance, his mom, his best friend, and his brother talked to him about 3 specific memories. They're very specific. One was about a rainbow rocket he drew. One was about Mike asking him to be his friend. And the other one was when they built Castle Byers. And I will ask you this, James. Do you remember the 3 flashback scenes that Will had at the end of Volume 1? Right
No,
before
it's
he
been.
accepted his powers? Well, it was those
One of
exact
them
3 memories.
was it the exact?
Yeah.
I was going to say, sorry, I thought you were saying. I remember being asked to be his friend, and the other ones I didn't remember.
There was one was him showing his mom the drawing of a rocket ship, which was her memory, and then him building Castle Byers with his brother was spliced in, and then the additional one was just D&D stuff, like him putting on his Will the Wise outfit. But all of the specific things that his loved ones mentioned to him to bring him back from his trance they're the same memories that he pulled when he accepted the power. So I'm not, don't lock this in. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that the pieces are there if you want to use them. Which is one of the favorite parts about this. They foreshadow a ton, dude. They foreshadow time travel all over this thing. All the Back to the Future stuff, the different times they have to hit 88 decibels. They're teasing a bunch, and I don't know how much of it is just to say, hey, we said flux capacitor this episode. Isn't that quirky? Isn't that funny? Don't you love nostalgia? Or is it an actual hint? Yeah, I don't know.
They're very good at that, sneaking all that in and being like, figure out which one fucking matters. Figure it out.
I love a good red herring.
Okay, you mentioned this. Let's talk the characters specifically here. We got about 15 minutes left. And just where they're at and did they grow. So I want to point out Dustin specifically.
Perfect. We did not talk about this ahead of time. But
We
that's who
did.
I wanted to ask you
You
about.
mentioned being stubborn for stubborn's sake, and I understand him wanting to carry on probably his best friend Eddie's legacy, and he's pissed that he is not around anymore, and everybody's talking shit about him and blaming him for everything that happened. But to act the way he does, I'm just like, ugh, like causing a scene at school, getting his ass kicked, not telling his friends what actually happened when he went to visit his grave and he got his pet snake killed. Dustin's the one, and then him and Steve, who is his best friend, he won't tell Steve shit. They've been fighting the whole time, which is getting annoying.
Yeah,
because they're fucking boys. Like they have been. Like they've not had like a normal conversation yet.
yeah. It's been basically don't talk to me type stuff.
Yeah.
That, and it's one of the things that when you cast or you build a show around teenagers, you kind of always have that in your pocket where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
teenagers are irrational, man. They're just nothing but hormones and emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's regressing as a character and sort of doing things that have never been established. But hey, fuck it, teenagers, man, because
I guess they're not wrong.
it doesn't really track with who he's been throughout. I mean, it tracks that he would be that upset about Eddie, but he seems. I don't want to say he takes it the most serious out of all the kids, but he's been the one that is usually pretty adamant about all of this stuff being real and taking it seriously. So you would think he'd be more than willing to just call out that the jock athletes who were all trying to murder them only a short year ago, like it wasn't long that all these dudes were chasing after him, why he wouldn't just tell his friends, oh yeah, the jocks are after me again. That's the part, like him being an ass and putting a snake in the guy's
he misses the crawl, all the shit goes down, except I just looked at Harl's comment and about died. Yeah, like I get it, but like all the shit goes down and he walks up with a broken bike and his fucking face beat to a pulp and he lies. And it's a weird moment that does not fit to me. I think he would immediately be like, I'm sorry, guys. I went to Eddie's grave and the fucking jocks followed me and beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. It did seem a little, it seemed a little out of character. And Steve too, it does feel like regressed a little bit. Like he's gone all the way back to season 1, Steve, I think there was
the love triangle thing is stupid.
Yeah, the love. Yes, I'm past the love triangle. I think the climbing up the tower was done specifically for a purpose because we see that same tower in a trailer image and there's like smoke going up it. So I think that was just done to establish it for later.
Hey, whatever.
But for what they used it for in the moment, it sucked. It's like, you two people are dying and you're still doing this. Like you're adults now.
Yeah,
you're regressing back to like season 1, season 2 behaviors.
That was the other thing that really annoyed me is that Nancy and the older buyer's relationship is like come to a complete standstill because he was gone all last year, right? But Steve is like trying to weasel his way in, and I'm like, what? The really cringy scene for me was when her parents are in the hospital and they find out, and Johnny's like, no, we got to keep doing the job. Like, there's nothing we can do. And he's like, well, maybe we can go give them flowers or something. And I'm like, I'm glad he said, like, they get in a fight over it. He just says it right there. Like, at least he just calls it. And I'm like, this is kind of a meta moment. Like, we're all thinking the same thing. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Like, no, Harls, we need to move on. That was a really annoying scene where it's like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing?
We talked earlier about the people we think are going to go.
Steve's high on the list.
One of them, Steve or Jonathan.
One of them's high on the list, and the other, the other two end up together, right? It's not like you're absolutely correct.
Nancy's just keeping her options open. All right. If one of you isn't going to make it out of here, and I'll marry the one that does, and we'll get a Winnebago, however the story Harrington told goes. But I think both characters, at least the two male ends of this triangle, would be better served outside of it. First of all, they've partnered off damn near everybody. You got Ellen, Mike, you got Max and
Yeah.
Lucas. You know, even Dustin had his very plot imperative girlfriend in the last season. So it's kind of like they don't all need to date. And like there's plenty of a compelling story to have people who were once together and are still part of this close group looking after each other. They're different kinds of love, but no, they have to have this horrible love triangle. And there was a time, I don't know, Harles has shipped Steve. Steve was
probably because of this. I mean, that's kind of fun.
With the guy who plays Steve. I mean, he's one of the better actors in the show. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I think the actor's great. I think he's awesome. I think the storyline is bad right now. Like we moved on past this last year, this version of him, right? He was the playboy, the jock, the asshole, lost Nancy, but Nancy found somebody else. She was happy. He was fine. He had his bromance with Dustin. Like it's gone backwards.
And then Jonathan, and this is the thing that gets me. Like, I don't understand how anybody can really root for Jonathan, Nancy, because this whole thing started, the whole love triangle started with Jonathan spying on the two of them and taking like voyeur, I can never say this word, voyeuristic photos. He's being a creep. It's called a peeping Tom is the easier way to say it. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunately very easy to forget because poor Barb, may she rest in peace. But yeah, he was out there being a huge creep. So yeah, Steve was a douche. Steve broke his camera. You find some guy taking photos of you in your girlfriend's bedroom with her. Are you not going to also break his camera because he just fucking spied on you with snapping your intimate photos? And then Jonathan moves across the country, just becomes a pothead. Like he lied to her about college for a bunch of years. Like, what about him?
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to propose. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the ring there was interesting. I don't care who ends up. I just want the stupid love trial. We're still doing this.
Let Steve go out like a hero. That's what I'm saying.
Give Steve his moment and let Nancy be miserable for the rest of her life.
With Jonathan. He seems like the kind of guy that would ask his partner on a date, like if she's having fun, like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, just constantly like, are you enjoying yourself?
Something wrong? Is everything okay? Shut the fuck up, Jonathan. God damn.
I just want it to be over.
If he were any character other than Will's brother, I'd be rooting for Jonathan to go, but poor Will's been through enough.
Let Harrington
go out like a champ.
Okay, so let's discuss Will, and then we're going to discuss who we think. If we're going to predict who we think goes. Yes, correct. Are you mad at me? I ask Kev this all the time. Are you okay with Will not necessarily having powers, but having command of the Demogorgons at the end? Yes or no?
Yes. Can I leave that statement pending upon conclusion? Like It kind of depends where the rest of it goes, but for now,
my justification of it is it's all based around the hive mind and that he's still very more attached to it than anybody realized, including Vecna. And all his friends were about to die. And if you noticed, he ends up having the same glossed over eyes that Vecna has all the time. So he's definitely connected to it. And that's like my justification. Like he didn't necessarily get powers like 11 has powers. And we haven't talked about 8 yet. We have to talk about that too.
Oh yeah.
And Victor have powers like they got experimented on. I view him as having access to the mind or the hive, mindful, whatever it is. We want to leave it open for right now. And because he's not some weak punk ass like Vecna says he is, like he's grown out of it, like he suddenly realizes he has some semblance of control inside that hive mind over things like the Demogorgons, who are just, they're mindless killing machines.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it seems to have been pretty well thought out, because the other part I like, or the part that works for me about it, is that it sort of followed the established logic. So when they moved to California, he started to feel better. He
Yep.
couldn't sense these things. And it would happen anytime they were close, he'd feel the tingle. Or so like they heavily implied throughout that it's proximity based. So the more of them that are closer to him, the stronger his connection is to them. That's why he seizes up when Steve hits one with a car. That's
Yes,
why
like
he's in
yes,
pain when they're getting torched with flamethrowers. So
Yep.
and the Duffer brothers have said themselves in some interviews that he doesn't have powers in the same way that El and Vecna have. They've said as much that it's proximity based. So it's definitely a different thing. And for that reason, I like this the character's redemption arc and the way that this whole thing, this has been multiple seasons of Will being the weakling, not really, he's questioning himself. I found it interesting. I was I don't know if I want to say surprised, but I like the dynamic between him and Robin. I don't know why I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
That naturally
It makes sense.
she would be his mentor, especially in the 80s, like especially at that time. So it was just funny, Robin of all characters being the inspirational voiceover at the end. It's like, I would not have had that on my bingo card, but it works. And so him finally sort of coming out of his shell while also experiencing those powers and it being about his internal growth. I'm like, oh, this all works. This sings for me.
Yeah.
Now, depending on how they do it at the end, I may turn around and change my mind. But as it sits right now, I thought it was a really good high point to end on for this volume. Like that.
Very good spot to stop it. Yeah.
Yeah. Those last few scenes, especially like when Vecna shows up and you actually get to see, like, we made fun of the budget earlier, but in that scene, damn, it's money well spent. They did some really cool stuff in that military scene. And so, the volume 1 reminded me a little bit of season 4, where I was like, I'm here for it because I'm just invested. And then by the end, it was like, oh, okay. All right, I'm back in. Let's see where this thing's going.
Yeah.
So I thought it worked well.
I do have to call out. There's a little bit of a plot hole with so Will, like they burn the Demogorgon. He feels it. Like when they run him over, he feels it, right? But in previous seasons, like there's a scene where they're burning the one and all of them feel it, right? So it's the very end. Like they stop chasing the grocery van, all that stuff.
Yes.
Because the one's on fire. That's never been done before. So that I was like, I don't think that is completely following everything, right? But maybe they're like, I don't remember ever a time of there being multiples in an area and one gets shot or something and nothing happens,
I guess that is a good point. And they were
the only time
spread out. It's not like they were all together.
Well, some are on the military base, some are in the tunnels, and then there's some chasing that giant grocery truck thing. So that was a little plot hole-ish to me, which I'm like, I'll let it slide. I like Will where he's going. So I'm predicting right now, I think Will Byers dies at the end. I think he dies a hero at the end. Calling that one right now. Shipping that one out. I think he dies.
Man,
you show begins with him, ends with him. I think he dies. And I think it's a heroic death, but I think it has something to do with the hive mind, the powers he gets from the hive mind, and he's going out in a blaze of glory.
Take it down with
prediction. Okay. He's dead. He ain't making it.
I like that. I could see that happening. Before I get into, there are a few different predictions and some theories that I have just heard that I want to flop out there too. You mentioned 8. What are your thoughts about the formerly thought of as a throwaway character? I can't tell you the number of people I have seen before this season complain about that one particular episode and talk about how
it's one of the worst episodes in the series. And I don't I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. That Elle's arc, and I don't remember it exactly. Like, does she run away or some shit and like ends up in like a city and finds
she's like
it's so weird.
For her mom at one point. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
don't remember it
exactly
exactly.
where it
I just
starts, but it
remember
winds up with her, looking for her aunt
that
and her
one
mom.
episode being really fucking bad. And for them to tie one of the major plot points at the end of the show back to that is ballsy. And I'm a guy because I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But man, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about it. And I guess it's a TBA to see if they can pull this off. But woof. I don't know, man. Like very ballsy to directly tie it back. One of the articles I wanted to read was something about that, and it obviously didn't get to it. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know how I've I accidentally kind of had it spoiled because I saw a Ringer article with that on it. So I knew the whole time it wasn't Vecna back there, which is fine, whatever. It's no big
Yeah,
deal.
that's a bummer.
I came across it's my own fault for being on Twitter, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I will see if they can nail that. I think that's a ballsy thing to do for sure.
Yeah, it's going to go one of two ways. It's it's either going to be a brilliant decision that they're able to, whether it's true or not, say, "Oh yeah, this was the plan all along," or it will feel like an add-on, or maybe she's just going to be Eddie Munson and she's just going to make it for about 3 more episodes. They just needed somebody with
But she can't
powers.
make it. There's only 4 left. She can't make it too many, Kev.
Well, and that's as we talk about some of the theories, this one
Because we don't know
I
how
can
she
take no credit
survived.
for. Yeah, we have no idea how she survived. But again, going back to this all being based on a game of D&D, there are times, I think even in the beginning, right? They need someone to roll a nat 20. At one point, I think Erica rolls a nat 20 when she takes Lucas's place in the Hellfire Club. And when you look at the numbers, so you have 11, and then you have 8, and then the idea that either it's what I've said before, and Henry is going to turn good at the end and he'll be your one. Or people have called out that Vecna made it a point that Will was the first. And so some people, for their version of the theory, has said that Will be 1. But either way, 11 plus 8 plus 1 equals 20. They would need to roll a 20 to defeat the Mind Flayer. So some people are using that to be like, oh, this is going to be
which makes
the
sense,
team, the collection of powers that will be needed to win this. So maybe she's going to have a large role in it. Final character I wanted to ask you about, because we weren't sure about this. We saw it in the trailer and I had to look it up. And it was, in fact, Sarah Connor playing the role of Dr. K. So they bring back yet another 80s icon for this show. What did you think of the character of Dr. K and that just that whole military
First
business?
off, she's a lot older than I remember. It's number one. Didn't realize it was her at first. She's good. Like, she doesn't get a ton of screen time, and I don't know how important that character is really going to be, other than just the leader of the military at this point, right? We don't know. The military to me is just an annoying antagonist. They're annoying right now. Like they're just constantly a thorn in the side for no fucking reason every season. They're always wrong. They're always doing stupid shit. As for her, she's great. She's fine. Doesn't get a ton of screen time until the last episode. And she's pretty good in the little quasi torture scene with Hopper right there. But I don't expect her to be important in any kind of way. Like we're running out of time to introduce important characters, and we just brought back 8 who they now have to take some. They're gonna have to take some time to make us convince us that that she fucking matters and she wasn't a part of the worst fucking episode of the series.
Yeah, I can't wait for that 20-minute recap portion.
We've got, and it's not like we said very early, talked about how some characters don't get their due. Like we finally get some Max. Max is in the last episode a decent amount, which makes sense now knowing. But there's a lot of characters already, a lot of important characters, and I do believe some are going to die. It hasn't happened yet, but like they got to get send-offs. There's just a lot going on. So I think she's good. She fits like she's an 80s icon. She fits it. She's good at it. I don't think she's important though.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, they've done a good job of adding these old 80s icon characters as side characters.
Have fun with them.
A lot of them don't survive. I
Mhm.
think Dr. Owens might be one of the only ones that made it through multiple seasons.
Mhm.
And I don't think he's doing too hot these days, but yeah, that you mentioned Max, and so before we get into the final, I guess just theories and guesses of who's going to die, you reminded me of my favorite moment, James, because this was the most nostalgic moment for me, and something that I would say even a 90s kid, you don't have to have been walking around in the 80s to have known this pain. But when Max is strolling through Vecna Land and she hears Kate Bush and she can see the window back to her own body with Lucas, and she hears the music and she's running to go through the portal, and the tape hits the end and
Yep.
Lucas has to rewind the
Wind
tape,
it.
and then the door
Yeah, I was laughing.
closes.
I was
I was
laughing.
like, dude, that's kind of corny, but goddamn, that's like, that is real. People who never had to make their own
You don't
mixtape off of the
understand.
radio station do not understand the horror of hearing that snap, and you're halfway into a song and you're like, no, I've been waiting 3 days for this song to come up on the radio so I can record it on my
Yeah.
Discman. God damn you.
I hate how she just like loses her mind too, and then immediately alerts Vecna that she's there. Like she could have just hunkered down, and it might have been a few days, but he just waited around. Like
She's
it'll
like,
probably play it again.
"Lucas!"
Shout out the music. I love that they used Kate Bush a lot again, but they also used Tiffany. Some of my favorite Tiffany song that I think We're Alone Now is played, and I fucking love that song. So shout out the music. They do a great job with it. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like when they used Upside Down as the signal song when they're doing the radio bit, they're giving all the instructions. Every time. That's the one place that they rarely miss.
Yeah, they're good at it. We'll see. I hope they can weave this 8 character back in and make it important, or I'm just I don't that one worries me a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out the actor for Vecna, because it's not a CGI character, even though a lot of people probably think it is. There's a lot of CGI elements to it, but that is a suit that he puts on, and it was like 8 hours to get that thing on. And he would just sit or roll around the table, stand up, be on his phone the whole time. And they put that suit on, like, and then he would wear it in those scenes, and then they would like CGI the bits and pieces onto him. But it's fucking cool. If you want to see some cool shit, like, or just be fucking amazed that how long it took to get that on him, and for him then to go film after he did it, it's crazy.
I bet he was pushing. That's probably where a lot of this dream stuff came from. It was actually just him after
like,
sitting in a makeup chair for 14 hours, just knocking on the Duffer Brothers doors like, guys, hear me out.
See if I can.
What if the next season we do a lot of stuff in my dreams, and then you don't have to put me in that makeup? I mean, we can see a different side of the character. He's just like, oh man, let me work for like 2 weeks without the makeup.
Yeah,
I'll do a good job.
I wish there was a video I found, and it's like, here is, man, I can't even zoom in on that. I'm gonna show this, and then we can bounce out. We gotta bounce out of here.
That's perfect. We're nearing the overtime section of the show, gang, where we're just gonna kind of be chilling. Probably talk a couple more theories, who lives, who dies towards the end. So as we wind down, let me say thank you to everybody who's been here thus far.
Thank you guys.
Make sure you subscribe if you want to come back.
Help us to 200. We're at 190. Help us along. You can see here that He's in a full suit. You can tell it's not like fully
Looks
there.
like the
Like,
Swamp Thing, dude.
yeah, he looks obviously nothing moving. He's missing like the tentacles on his shoulders. That one's from the show. I don't know if there's anything else in here. But yeah, like, so you can see all like the dots and stuff on them that they used, and they would tag on and edit and post. But it would take forever for him to get into this. Let's see.
Welcome, Shadow.
Hours long application. 2 a.m. calls to get the prosthetics applied.
Ooh, dude.
I
wonder if you can even nap, because your first thought is like, okay, you get up at 2, you sit in a chair.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, you're asleep. But I imagine you probably wouldn't be able to sleep with them doing all that.
Used foam, latex, silicone base. Like there's whole articles. There's all kinds of shit in here. The full body suit was made up of 26 overlapping prosthetic pieces that fit together like a jigsaw puzzle.
No, thank you, man.
Yeah,
I love it. I appreciate it. More projects should do things like that. But good God,
committed to the bit, man.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Shadow says Stranger Things overrated as fuck. Might as well call it Star Wars. It is getting a little Star Warsy in some sections. I think now that we're into the theory portion and who lives, who dies. We talked about the play, James, the prequel, and that was one of the pieces of feedback that I had where I was like, okay, we're getting a little Skywalker ranch here when it's Dr. Brenner's dad, who is the very first one to go to Dimension X. He just so happens to then move to Utah so they can do, or Nevada, sorry, so they can, I think it's called Project Rainbow or something. They're basically trying to replicate what happened before. And it's a Russian spy, because of course it is, because it's the Cold War, that steals the stuff, hides it in a cave, and then Henry finds it. And so, this whole story revolves around like 5 people. It starts in the 40s. It's the time span is like 40 years, and there's like exactly 5 people. So at least they kept it in a small town. I'll give them that. Star Wars has got
trying to
however many thousands of planets, and it's still 9 fucking people that are important.
Yeah,
at least this is a small town Indiana, so we'll give them some credit there. Nevada's like its own messed up dimension. That's why they rip open a portal there. Yeah, we've thought about that. Maybe they were just in Nevada this whole time. They think they're in some otherworldly place, and it's like, nah, you're just in Reno, bud.
Shout out Jamie Campbell Bower, who is the actor for Vecna. He does a fucking great job. On that note, Kev, you got to get out of here. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Arles in the chat. Kang was in there. Polar Knights was in there early. Even Shadow popping in at the end. Please like, subscribe, and share as we are 10 away from 200. Finally getting closer. Kev, outside of here, where can they find you at?
Well, be on the lookout over on Carnage Media. We've got the next episode of Benchmark Pro Wrestling underway. It's ready to go. And then we've got Carnage Fight Series 5, Fights Before Christmas. James,
love you, Shadow.
Never, dude, never. And so Fights Before Christmas, December 20th, that will be a good time. Check me out over there. And other than that, just be on the lookout. Shadow, you are in luck, because we won't talk Stranger Things again until the new year, right? Because of their lovely release schedule. So we've got some other things to keep us busy for the rest of this month. Fuck you, Stu. Arles number 1. And that's it. That's all I've got. Turn those noties on. We've got new videos coming out too in between live streams, and very, very soon be on the lookout for some upgrades around here. Okay.
We're there's some upgrade equipment finally coming, folks, for both of us. The timing is crazy. Shadow, appreciate you. Not mad at you. I have to be somewhere in 1 minute, so I gotta get out of here.
Whoopsies.
My brother-in-law just texted me, so no hate. I just have to get moving. So yeah, me and Kev happened to fall on some new equipment over Black Friday, which is crazy because neither of us talked to each other until we told each other and found it out. So that's fun. So thank you guys for joining us. This has been a review of Stranger Things season 5, volume 1. Until next time, it's this one.